The Screen Actors Guild strike is now over for all intents and purposes. So all the actors are on their way back to work, including John Cena, which means we probably will not be seeing much more of him around in the WWE anytime soon, which is probably why he lost that big squash match to Solo Sikoa over in Saudi Arabia for Crown Jewel. But one movie that John Cena has already filmed that will not be seeing the light of day was a movie that he filmed for Warner Brothers Discovery, James Gunn produced film, which was going to be a animated like a live action / animated like Space Jam with John Cena and the Wile E. Coyote. As the Wile E. Coyote versus Acme was the movie. This apparently done filming. John Cena's parts have been shot, but this movie will never see the light of day, most likely. For more information on why this is, we're going to jump on over to this clip from the John Campea show.
John Cena's got this Wile E. Coyote versus Acme movie coming out, a movie about that's supposed to be a CG live action hybrid. You know, kind of a little bit in the vein of Space Jam, I suppose. You know, Warner Brothers has developed a little bit of a habit, if you will, of taking films that are already finished and throwing them away, like they did with Batgirl. But it looks like maybe it's happened again, as reports are coming out that Warner Brothers has made the decision that they're not going to release this Wile E. Coyote versus Acme movie. Let's go over to the Hollywood Reporter and take in what they're saying here, because there's a whole bunch here to unpack. Warner's no longer plans to release Coyote versus Acme, a live-action CG animation hybrid that completed principal photography last year in New Mexico. The move follows veteran animation executive Bill, I'm not going to pronounce his name right, Damashki, taking over Warner Animation Group earlier this year. So a new boss comes in, decides, no, we're not going to do this project. Then, you know, the director of the film talked about how passionate he was about the film, and he's sad that it's gone. Anyway, the feature, which sources believe cost around $72 million to make, had key Warner talent involved in front of the camera and behind the camera. It stars John Cena, who starred in Max's popular DC show Peacemaker and is due to return for a second season. And DC Studios co-head James Gunn produced this movie and worked on the story. Now, there are a couple of things to mention here about the Cena situation, okay? The first thing is that while principal photography may have been done, that doesn't mean the movie was done. Because remember, this movie was going to be a CG live action hybrid. So just because they finished principal photography, that means they finished all the live action shooting. Like all that stuff was done. But it sounds like they still had a lot of the heavy lifting to do, putting in the CG elements, the characters, all that kind of stuff. Not to mention, you know, if you're going to put it out theatrically, and this movie was made with the intention of going straight to streaming. And we all know that Warner Brothers is getting out of the business of making movies that are just meant to go straight to streaming. So this was originally go straight to streaming. So they only want to do theatrical now. To do this thing theatrically, they probably are going to have to pour more money into the CGI. A lot of the CGI they hadn't even done yet. Then you're going to have to mount probably a $50 million marketing campaign to get it out. And $50 million's modest. A $50 million marketing campaign for a film of that size is modest. So you're probably looking at spending another $25 to $30 million on the CGI, probably another $40, $45, $50 million on the marketing. And the new boss who took over Warner Animation, I guess, just stepped in and said, this doesn't fit with the way we're going and the direction that we're heading. And it's going to be better for us financially just to shelve the project.
Yeah, Warner Brothers got a new guy in the animation department and just said, you know what? This is probably going to lose us a shit ton of money. We could probably better put our resources somewhere else. So they just shelved an entire like $75 million movie, just put it right up on the shelf, write it off, take a loss. So somewhere out there, there's an entire film. Now, this was not edited necessarily, or the animation was not done. That's probably why it was shelved, as John Campea said there, just to save on the extra cost, the extra cost to animate and produce that, and then to go out and market it. It was probably not going to make that money back after the 75 that was already spent to produce what John Cena was able to film for it, along with the other whatever live action actors that were going to be a part of it. So no knock on John Cena. So if you hear this reported anywhere else in the wrestling news circle, that John Campea show clip, John Campea is a Hollywood insider. So he is in the trades, the Hollywood trades media, which is essentially the dirt sheets for movies. He is not in the dirt sheets for pro wrestling. So if you hear any of the dirt sheets start to report any kind of, John Cena's movie canned, and try to spin it like his career is in danger or that it was anyway his fault, it's all a bunch of bullshit. Don't believe it. You heard it here first. You heard it in the John Campea show first, if you heard that. But John Cena's movie canned, shelved, not gonna happen. I was kind of, look, man, I think that's a dope idea. Apparently, it was like Wile Coyote is suing the Acme company because of all the products that have gone wrong for him over the years, which is funny. I like that. And if they're going to do it in the vein of a Space Jam, where there's animated and then there's, live action along with it. What's the other one? I know there was another one that's on the tip of my tongue, and you're like, there's another one besides Space Jam, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. When you're on camera and you're recording shit, not everything is just right there on the tip of your tongue, So, fuck you guys, but I do know that there are other live action. And no, not Space Jam 2. It's not what I'm thinking about, Space Jam 2. But it would have been fun to see that kind of thing. But John Cena's going to be just fine. His Hollywood career is going to be just fine. Everything is good in the hood. Peacemaker is still going strong, and he put Peacemaker on the map, quite frankly. And I don't see John Cena's career going down the shitter anytime soon, especially because James Gunn is the head of DC Studios, and James Gunn has a very particular liking for wrestlers, working with Batista in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and he really likes John Cena. He created that Peacemaker show for John Cena, and he's the studio head. Of course, the Wile E. Coyote movie was not a DC property, so just because James Gunn was a producer on that project does not make him the final say in that. And he was, the Warner Brothers animation guy nixed it. It is what it is. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next, but I want you guys leave down in the comments your thoughts. Would you have liked to see this movie? What was the other live action / anime? Or Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Was that it? That was certainly one. Was that the one I was thinking of, or is there still yet another? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. And like I said, if you see it anywhere else and they try to put a spin on it, tell those motherfuckers, can't see me.
Let me tell you something, brother. You can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on this channel, dude. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to take your vitamins and say your prayers, brother.